Part 1. No phones, no internet, no cars. Could you survive like the Amish? Could you live without technology? The Amish do, but how? It's early morning in Holmes County, Ohio. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting a golden glow over the rolling fields. A horse-drawn buggy moves slowly down a quiet country road. No traffic lights, no honking horns. Just the rhythmic clatter of hooves on pavement and the distant hum of farm life beginning its day. Here, time seems to stand still. While the rest of the world races forward, smartphones buzzing, cars speeding, screens glowing, the Amish live by a completely different set of rules. No electricity, no internet, no cars. For over 300 years, they've chosen simplicity over modern convenience. But why? Is it faith, tradition, a way to protect their way of life? And more importantly, could you do it? Imagine waking up tomorrow with no phone, no Wi-Fi, no social media. Could stepping away from technology actually make life better? Or is it simply impossible in today's world? Today, we take a closer look at the Amish, those who embrace this way of life and those who've walked away from it. What is it really like to live without modern technology? And what does it reveal about the way we live today? Stay with us, because what we found might just change the way you see your own life. 1. No electricity, no internet. In most American homes, a flick of a switch brings instant light. A tap on a phone connects us to the world. But in an Amish household, things are different. There are no power lines, no glowing screens, no buzzing appliances. Instead, light comes from oil lamps, heat from wood-burning stoves, and entertainment from conversation, books, or the simple sounds of nature. We don't use electricity because it brings too many things with it, explains Eli, an Amish farmer. First, it's just lights, then maybe a television, then the internet. Before you know it, the world changes and we lose what makes us Amish. For the Amish, rejecting electricity isn't just about keeping life simple. It's about keeping their community strong. Without TV or social media, family members spend more time together. Without internet distractions, children grow up learning practical skills instead of scrolling through endless feeds. But that doesn't mean the Amish reject all modern conveniences. Many use propane-powered refrigerators and gas lamps. Some even have solar panels to run basic tools. The rule isn't about avoiding technology completely. It's about controlling it. If a new invention threatens their way of life, they simply don't allow it. In a world that runs on Wi-Fi and smartphones, it's hard to imagine life without electricity. But for the Amish, this is normal. And while many outsiders see it as outdated, they believe it's the key to a simpler, more connected life. 2. No cars, only horse-drawn buggies. In most of America, cars are a necessity. They take people to work, school, the grocery store, everywhere. But for the Amish, there are no cars, no highways filled with traffic, no engines roaring down the street. Instead, their primary mode of transportation is something from another era, the horse-drawn buggy. We believe cars separate people, says John, an Amish carpenter. If you have a car, you can go far. You can leave home more often. But when you ride a buggy, life slows down. You stay closer to your family and your community. The Amish see automobiles as more than just machines. They see them as a gateway to independence from the community. A car means freedom to travel long distances, freedom to leave, freedom to live a more individualistic life. And to them, that's a risk. Their culture is built on staying together, relying on one another, and not being tempted by the outside world. Buggies, in contrast, keep them grounded. They move at a steady pace, allowing for reflection, conversation, and an appreciation for their surroundings. But they also come with challenges. Bad weather can make travel difficult. Long trips take hours instead of minutes, and sharing the road with modern traffic can be dangerous. We've had close calls, admits Samuel, an Amish farmer. Cars go too fast. Sometimes they don't see us. But this is our way of life, and we trust God to keep us safe. Some Amish communities allow limited use of modern transportation in special cases. They might hire a driver for long trips, like doctor's appointments or business travel. But personally owning a car? That's out of the question. To most Americans, the idea of life without cars seems impossible. But for the Amish, it's just another way they choose to live simply, stay connected, and keep their traditions alive. 3. No modern machinery, everything done by hand. In today's world, machines do most of the hard work. Tractors plow fields, factories produce goods at lightning speed, and technology makes everything faster and easier. But for the Amish, work is different. It's slow, deliberate, and done mostly by hand. Machines make life too easy, explains Peter, an Amish dairy farmer. If everything is done for you, what's left for a man to do? Hard work builds character. It keeps us close to God. In Amish communities, farming is still the backbone of daily life. Instead of tractors, they use horse-drawn plows. Instead of automated irrigation systems, they rely on natural rain cycles. Instead of mass-produced goods, they craft everything by hand. Furniture, clothing, even their own homes. Every nail hammered, every stitch sewn, every field tilled is a reminder of the values they hold dear. Discipline, patience, and self-reliance. That doesn't mean they reject all tools. Many Amish farmers use diesel-powered engines for specific tasks, like running a sawmill or powering a milking system. But there's a strict rule. Machines must never replace human effort completely. If a tool makes life more convenient but doesn't break their core beliefs, it might be allowed. But if it threatens their way of life, it's not. We're not against technology, Peter clarifies. We just don't want it to take over our lives. When you rely too much on machines, you forget how to do things yourself. But this commitment to tradition comes at a cost. Farming by hand takes longer. It's physically demanding. Competing with modern farms is nearly impossible. Many young Amish men, drawn to easier work outside the farm, are leaving agriculture altogether. And with fewer farms, some wonder if the Amish way of life can survive in a rapidly changing world. Still, for those who remain, the struggle is worth it. Every calloused hand, every drop of sweat is a sign of dedication, not just to their work, but to their faith, their families, and the simple life they've chosen. 2. Comparing to modern life. Across the country, life moves fast. In big cities, people rush from place to place, their schedules packed with meetings, deadlines, and digital distractions. At any moment, they are connected to the world, checking emails, scrolling through social media, answering calls. The modern world is built for speed, convenience, and efficiency. But is it making us happier? For the Amish, the answer is clear: no. We see people always looking at their phones, always in a hurry, says Jacob, an Amish craftsman. They have everything at their fingertips, but they still seem stressed, still searching for something. Studies show that modern life, despite its conveniences, has led to rising levels of anxiety and depression. People are more connected than ever, yet loneliness is at an all-time high. The constant pressure to keep up, to be productive, to always be on, has left many feeling overwhelmed. The Amish, on the other hand, don't live by the clock. There are no emails to answer, no social media notifications pulling them away from their families. Their focus is on the present moment, on their work, their faith, and their relationships. We spend time together, explains Mary, an Amish mother. We talk at dinner, we sing together, we help each other. That's what matters to us. But does rejecting modern technology really make life better? For many outsiders, the idea of living without electricity, cars, or the internet seems unimaginable. Modern conveniences make daily tasks easier, allow for better medical care, and provide access to education and information. The Amish give up all of that to protect their way of life. But is the trade-off worth it? Some who have left the Amish community say no. They argue that modern life offers freedom to choose a career, to travel, to access new ideas and opportunities. But others who have experienced both worlds believe the Amish may have found something modern society has lost: a true sense of belonging, of purpose, of peace. We don't need all that stuff, says Samuel, a young Amish man. We have each other, and that's enough. So the question remains, in a world that never slows down, is the Amish way of life a step backward or a path to something modern society desperately needs? 3rd, leaving the Amish community. What happens next? For most Amish, life is simple and structured. They are born into a tight-knit community, raised with clear expectations, and taught that their way of life is the right one. But not everyone stays. Some choose to leave, and for them, the outside world is both exciting and terrifying. I felt trapped, says Cheryl, who left the Amish community at 27. I wanted more freedom, more choices, but leaving meant losing everything. Walking away from the Amish way of life isn't just about stepping into the modern world. It's about stepping away from family, friends, and the only life they've ever known. In many Amish communities, those who leave are shunned. That means no visits, no phone calls, no letters. Parents may refuse to speak to their children. Brothers and sisters become strangers. It's not out of cruelty, but out of a deep belief that staying Amish is the only way to live a righteous life. It's not that we don't love them, explains John, an Amish elder, but if we welcome them back too easily, others might be tempted to leave too. For those who do leave, adjusting to modern life can be overwhelming. Simple things, using a smartphone, driving a car, even flipping a light switch, can feel foreign. Many have only an 8th grade education and little work experience outside of farming or craftsmanship. Finding a job, renting an apartment, and managing bills can be a struggle. The first time I walked into a grocery store by myself, I didn't know what half the stuff was, Cheryl recalls. I had never seen so many choices before. It was exciting, but also really scary. Some who leave embrace their new life completely, diving into technology, education, and careers they never imagined possible. Others find themselves torn between two worlds, missing the simplicity and security of the Amish way, but unable to fully go back. And for a few, the loneliness of separation becomes too much, and they return to the community, willing to give up modern conveniences just to be with their families again. I thought I wanted freedom, says Samuel, who left for 3 years before returning. But I realized freedom wasn't worth it if I had to do it alone. Leaving the Amish isn't just a physical journey, it's an emotional one. It's a choice between tradition and independence, between belonging and self-discovery. And for those who take that step, there's no easy path forward. But one thing is certain, once you leave, life is never the same again. For what makes them happy, an outsider's perspective. In a world where people are constantly chasing success, wealth, and convenience, the Amish seem to have found something different, something simpler, yet deeply fulfilling. But what exactly makes them happy? And is there something the rest of us can learn from their way of life? They don't have TVs, they don't have social media, they don't even have electricity, says Michael, a journalist who has spent time with several Amish families. Yet they seem more at peace than most people I know. Many studies suggest that despite their lack of modern comforts, the Amish report higher levels of life satisfaction than the average American. They live without many of the stressors that come with modern technology. No emails to check, no social media pressures, no overwhelming news cycles. Instead, their lives revolve around faith, family, and community. We don't worry about keeping up with the world, explains Ruth, an Amish mother. We just live each day, take care of our family, and trust in God. The Amish lifestyle encourages deep, personal connections. They eat together, work together, worship together. In many modern households, dinner time is spent staring at screens. In Amish homes, it's a moment of togetherness. There are no distractions, no notifications pulling them away from the people in front of them. I visited an Amish home where the kids actually played outside for hours, says Michael. No video games, no phones, just playing in the fields, climbing trees. It felt like stepping back in time. But does that mean the Amish life is perfect? Of course not. It comes with its own hardships, physical labor, strict rules, and little personal freedom. Some struggle with the lack of medical advancements and educational opportunities. And for those who don't fully fit into the community, life can feel isolating. It's not for everyone, admits Jacob, an Amish craftsman, but for us, this is happiness. We don't need more. So could the rest of the world learn from the Amish way of life? Maybe. Maybe happiness isn't found in the next big purchase, the next career move, or the next vacation. Maybe it's in slowing down, disconnecting from the noise, and focusing on what truly matters. I don't think everyone needs to become Amish, says Michael, but I do think we could all benefit from living a little more like them. 5. Conclusion. What can we learn from the Amish? As the world moves faster, the Amish remain still. While most of us wake up to alarm clocks, rush to work, and spend hours glued to screens, they rise with the sun, work with their hands, and end the day surrounded by family. They live without the distractions of modern life, without the pressure to always do more, be more, achieve more. And yet somehow they seem at peace. We don't feel like we're missing out, says Ely, an Amish farmer. We have what we need. We have our families, our faith, our work. That's enough for us. But could the rest of us live this way? Could we give up our cars, our phones, our electricity? For most, the answer is no. Modern technology has made life easier in many ways. It connects us, educates us, and opens doors that the Amish will never walk through. But maybe the goal isn't to live exactly like the Amish. Maybe it's to take a step back and ask ourselves what really matters. What if we put down our phones at the dinner table? What if we spent more time outdoors? What if we valued community over competition, simplicity over excess? What if we slowed down? The Amish life isn't perfect, says Michael, a journalist who has studied their way of life. But they figured something out that the rest of us seem to have forgotten. Happiness doesn't come from having more. It comes from appreciating what you already have. In the end, we may not need to reject modern life completely, but there's no denying that the Amish offer a powerful reminder. Sometimes less really is more. Could you live without technology? Could you live like the Amish? Maybe not. But maybe, just maybe, we can all learn something from the way they live. Part 2. Amish schools, what do they teach without the internet? 1. Introduction, a school without technology. In most American classrooms, students sit in front of computers, research topics online, and learn from digital whiteboards. Education today is built around technology, making information more accessible than ever. But in Amish schools, there are no computers, no internet, not even electricity. Their classrooms look like something from the past: wooden desks, chalkboards, and handwritten assignments. Yet for generations, the Amish have successfully educated their children without modern tools. So how do they do it? In our previous documentary, we explored what it's like to live without technology. No electricity, no cars, no modern conveniences. Now, we step into the Amish classroom to see how children learn in a world where books, hands-on experience, and faith are the foundation of education. How do Amish students gain knowledge without access to the internet? What subjects do they study? And why do they stop formal schooling at just 14 years old? As the world moves forward with digital learning and artificial intelligence, the Amish remain unchanged. But is their system outdated, or have they preserved something valuable that modern education has lost? Today, we take a closer look inside an Amish school to understand a different kind of learning, one that rejects technology in favor of simplicity, discipline, and tradition. Number 2, the Amish education system, learning without technology. In most schools across America, students use laptops, watch educational videos, and rely on the internet for research. But step inside an Amish classroom and you'll see a completely different world. There are no screens, no digital textbooks, no Wi-Fi. Instead, children learn the way their parents and grandparents did, through books, chalkboards, and hands-on experience. PASH, a simple yet structured learning environment. Amish schools are small, usually just a single-room building with one teacher instructing students from grades 1 through 8. The desks are wooden, the lessons are handwritten, and the curriculum is straightforward: reading, writing, arithmetic, history, and basic science. But everything is taught through the lens of faith and practicality. We don't need computers to teach our children, says Sarah, an Amish school teacher. They learn by reading, by solving problems on paper, by discussing with each other. That's how we've always done it. Without technology, Amish children rely entirely on traditional learning methods. There are no online quizzes, no educational apps, just the basics. But despite this, most Amish students become fluent in both English and Pennsylvania Dutch, their native language, and develop strong mental math skills, often better than their peers in modern schools. What's in the Amish curriculum? Reading and writing, a strong emphasis on literacy, with books chosen carefully to align with Amish values. Mathematics, focused on real-life applications like measuring for farming, carpentry, and running a small business. History and geography, lessons center around Amish heritage, American history, and practical geography relevant to farming and trade. Science, basic knowledge of biology and nature, but no evolution theory, as all teachings follow biblical principles. Faith and ethics, the Bible is a core part of education, teaching moral values and the importance of community. We don't teach things that go against our beliefs, explains Samuel, an Amish father. Our children don't need to learn about things they'll never use in their lives. 3. Why do Amish schools reject modern education? In today's world, education is seen as the key to opportunity. The more you learn, the more doors open: college, careers, financial success. But for the Amish, education is not about climbing the ladder of success. It's about preserving a way of life. That's why Amish schools deliberately reject modern education, limiting formal schooling to 8th grade and keeping subjects strictly aligned with their values. But why do they do this? And what do they fear about modern learning? No higher education. Learning ends at 14. In most of America, teenagers attend high school preparing for college and careers, but Amish students finish school at just 14 years old. Instead of continuing in a classroom, they step into the real world, learning from their parents and community through hands-on experience. The idea is simple: education should be practical, not theoretical. We don't need our children to become doctors or lawyers, explains David, an Amish farmer. We need them to be good workers, good neighbors, good family members. That's what matters to us. For the Amish, too much education can be dangerous. It can introduce ideas that challenge their beliefs. It can pull young people away from their community. It can lead them toward careers and lifestyles that conflict with their way of life. Tash, a faith-based approach to learning. The Amish believe that knowledge should serve their values, not challenge them. That's why their schools avoid certain topics, especially those that contradict biblical teachings. Evolution, modern psychology, and many aspects of modern science are left out of the curriculum. We teach what we believe to be true, says Sarah, an Amish teacher. We don't need to know everything the world teaches. We need to know what's right in God's eyes. In many Amish communities, even books are carefully selected to align with religious values. While students learn history and science, the focus remains on practical applications and traditional Christian beliefs. Keeping the outside world at a distance. Perhaps the biggest reason Amish schools reject modern education is fear of what it might lead to. A high school diploma could encourage a young Amish person to leave the community in search of a different life. Once a young person gets too much education, they start asking too many questions, says John, an Amish elder. And when they question too much, they might walk away. To outsiders, this might seem restrictive, but to the Amish, it's a way of protecting their traditions, their families, and their way of life. They don't see it as limiting opportunities. They see it as keeping their community strong. But does this approach truly prepare Amish children for the future? Or does it leave them unprepared for a world that is constantly evolving? As we explore further, we'll see how Amish youth transition from school to adulthood and how their unique education system shapes their future lives. 4. How do Amish children learn real-world skills? Learning through work, the Amish apprenticeship system. For Amish boys, education shifts from the classroom to the fields, the barns, and the workshops. They work alongside their fathers, learning farming, carpentry, blacksmithing, or other trades that have been passed down for generations. There are no formal apprenticeships, no official training programs, just real-life experience, guided by family and community members. I learned how to build a barn before I could even read a blueprint, says Eli, a 16-year-old Amish boy. We don't need college to learn how to work. We just do it. They stay at home, learning to cook, sew, and care for younger siblings. Many also help with small family businesses like baking, quilting, or running market stalls. My mother taught me everything I need to know, says Anna, a 15-year-old Amish girl. How to sew, how to cook, how to take care of a home. I don't need school to teach me that. A practical education for a simple life. Unlike modern education, which focuses on academic knowledge and career preparation, Amish education is entirely practical. Everything they learn is meant to help them live a successful life within their community. We don't learn things just to pass a test, explains Noah, an Amish father. We learn things that actually matter in our lives. This approach makes Amish children highly skilled in practical trades. Even though they don't attend high school or college, many end up running successful businesses. Are they missing out? To outsiders, this way of learning may seem limiting, Without advanced education, Amish children will never become doctors, scientists, or engineers. I always wondered what else was out there, says Jacob, a former Amish man who left the community. They don't see it as a loss. They see it as a way of staying connected to their roots. For them, happiness doesn't come from climbing the career ladder. It comes from faith, family, and a life of simple work. We don't need to know everything the world knows, says Mary, an Amish mother. We just need to know enough to live a good life. So is this form of education a disadvantage, or is it a path to a more meaningful life? As we explore further, we'll compare Amish education with modern schooling to see what each system offers and what each might be missing. 5. Amish schools versus modern schools. Which is better? Education looks very different in an Amish school compared to a modern one. There are no computers, no advanced science labs, no college prep courses. Instead, Amish children focus on basic skills, hands-on learning, and religious teachings. Meanwhile, in the outside world, students are encouraged to explore technology, critical thinking, and a wide range of academic subjects. So, which system works better? And is one truly superior to the other? The strengths of Amish education. The Amish believe their way of teaching prepares children for real life. By the time they finish 8th grade, they can read, write, do mental math, and understand the basics of history and science. More importantly, they have hands-on skills that help them become productive members of their community. Our children don't just sit in classrooms all day, says John, an Amish father. They learn how to work, how to take care of a family, how to live a good life. Key advantages of Amish education: less stress, more focus, no pressure from standardized tests or college admissions. Practical skills: students graduate knowing how to farm, build, sew, and run a business. Strong community values: education reinforces faith, discipline, and a simple way of life. Many Amish parents argue that their children are happier and better prepared for their way of life than modern students who spend years in school, only to graduate with little real-world experience. The downsides of Amish education. But there's another side to this. Because Amish children stop formal schooling at 14, they miss out on many subjects that could expand their knowledge and opportunities. They don't study advanced math or science, they don't learn about world history, and they never develop skills in modern technology. I wanted to know more, says Sarah, a former Amish woman who left the community. I loved learning, but I wasn't allowed to go beyond 8th grade. I felt like my education was cut short. Challenges of Amish education. Limited career options. Without higher education, Amish children can only work within their community. No exposure to modern technology. They miss out on skills that could help them adapt to the outside world. Lack of critical thinking training. Education is based on tradition rather than questioning and exploring new ideas. For those who stay Amish, these limitations may not matter, but for those who want to leave or explore the modern world, the lack of formal education can make the transition difficult. A balanced perspective. What can we learn from each system? The truth is, both education systems have strengths and weaknesses. Modern schools provide endless opportunities, but also bring stress, competition, and a disconnect from family values. Amish schools offer simplicity and a strong work ethic, but limit personal growth and career choices. I think there's something to learn from both, says Michael, an education expert. Maybe we don't need to give up modern schooling, but we could benefit from focusing more on practical skills and real-world learning, things the Amish do really well. So is one system truly better, or does the ideal education lie somewhere in between? As we move forward, we'll explore what lessons modern schools might take from the Amish, and what the Amish might gain by opening their doors just a little to the outside world. 6. Conclusion. What can we learn from Amish education? To outsiders, stopping school at 14 and avoiding modern science may seem like a disadvantage. But while modern education focuses on academic success, Amish education prioritizes family, tradition, and purpose. In a world full of stress and distractions, their way of learning offers something rare: stability and simplicity. So what can we learn from them? Maybe education shouldn't just prepare us for jobs, but also for life. Maybe we need more practical skills, stronger values, and a greater focus on well-being. We may not live like the Amish, but their approach to learning reminds us that success isn't just about knowledge, it's about living a meaningful life.